Oftentimes, a figure can be brought down big time by being put in the wrong size class. Whether it be for scale or engineering's sake, sometimes it feels as if a character should have been bumped up or down in size class. The 2007 movie line has a couple of interesting examples of that. But one figure in particular sums up both issues I stated to a T. My name is Sint, and today on Sim Reviews, we're continuing our look at the '07 movie line with movie Deluxe Brawl. Brawl was released in 2007 as part of the second wave of the Deluxe lineup, and initially retailed for about $10. He saw a running change that changed the type of plastic used in his automorph mechanism.
Starting off in alt mode, Brawl turns into an Abrams tank, a fairly common alt mode for tank formers, all things considered. It's generally the first thing that comes to mind when you think of a tank, and as you can see, this is definitely a tank. The tank mode itself is pretty well detailed, with a lot of molded in rivets, panel lining, and armor plating. You can see a little hatch right here, and overall, it's pretty well detailed. You can see little gripper claws back here, and some minesweeper claws up here. The camo duck he used is a bit bland, but fitting for the vehicle, and definitely beats having flat forest green and the little bits of the sort of very, very dark bluish green. Break it up pretty nicely and gives enough interest to where the alt mode isn't overly boring in the way of color schemes. The main turret right here can fire a missile with quite a bit of strength, I must say. And yeah, this was back when a lot of figures tended to have missiles, so yeah. Now let's get into the real fun real quick. The stability issues. This figure is a bit infamous for its stability issues. So first off, the turret, unless you really press down on the center bit right here, does not like to tab in properly. There we go, now I got it tabbed in. In addition, the side skirts right here, at least on mine copy, do not like to stay tabbed in. And in general, there's some rather, there it goes again. There's some rather obvious bits of kibble exposed. Yeah. For size comparison, here he is with another deluxe size tank in the form of Siege Impactor. Impactor is definitely taller, but Brawl, I would say, has the edge in the way of length. And like with Jazz, here he is with Siege Sideswipe to get a rough comparison of how big he is compared to a modern Deluxe. And yeah, this is a very, very small tank. Overall, Brawl's vehicle mode, well, it looks very, very cool. Between its stability issues and the fact that it's just so small, it's kind of a mixed bag. Looks great on its own, but as a playable toy and as just an alt mode, really could have been a lot better. So yeah. On to transformation.
Brawl ranks as a 3 in complexity, an intermediate conversion. It's not a particularly complex transformation, but it can be very fiddly at times, which is something that became a rather big issue with movie lines later down the line.
Brawl's transformation is more along the lines of what you think of when you hear movie figure. So we're going to start off by coming to the sides here and swinging down the side skirts. Going to come up to the front portion right here, and here's where his automorph comes in. When you flip down the front end, the treads flip up onto his shoulders. So rotate around the head, that just flops back on its own. Straighten out the legs after splitting them. Flip out the feet. Rotate around these little gas cans at the back to form the heels. Come to the turret right here. Flip out these little side panels. Come inside the turret itself. And pull out the arms. This is where it gets a bit fiddly. Swing them out like this. For that arm, for this arm, pull up the cannon. And then swing them out. Come to the top turret right here. Splay out the missile pods and swing them forward. And then rotate around this entire turret section. And then spin the entire main turret section around. And fold it up against his back until it somewhat locks into place. Flip out the claw and try to get the tab in the rough area of the groove. Come to the other arm, and that just fired across the room. Push up the cannon, and once again try to get try and get the tab roughly into the groove. Flip up the back pods right here. Make the forks and swing them around. And there is Brawl in his robot mode. And I am gonna go and find that missile. Brawl's robot mode looks beastly. Keyword looks, we'll get into that in a bit, but overall, it definitely looks like a Decepticon bruiser. Covered in armor plating, huge arm cannon on one arm, large ripping claws on the other, and quite the Mega Sulk, if I do say so myself. Overall, the robot mode definitely does continue the armor look that the alt mode set up, with even more armored paneling revealing itself, as well as a bit of gold paint, and of course the head with its fiery orange light piping. Overall, while not exactly completely movie accurate, I think it does capture the look of the character well enough. As you saw in the transformation, he can still fire the missile. Articulation I'm just gonna point out and not demonstrate, because that links into this guy's stability issues. So, ball jointed head, ball jointed shoulders, kind of gorilla arms, but they do have a swivel. Ball jointed hips, normal bend, as well as an inward bend in the knees. So, he's weirdly articulated, and he's not that fun to pose. Let's get into that. So, if we come to Brawl's shoulders here, you'll notice a groove right here and a peg right here. The pegs are supposed to go into the groove, but they just don't. This was a huge issue in the original release, and it was fixed in the Revenge of the Fallen Desert Camo repaint. But as is, yeah. And due to this, his backpack does not like this peg on. Yeah. What doesn't help is the fact that in his first run, his automorph cogs were clear plastic. Mine's a first run. So, yeah, definitely not going to be messing with this guy that much. Here he is with Siege Impactor, and, yeah, Brawl's not big. He's not big at all. He is minuscule. Like, it's kind of crazy how small this bruiser is. And here he is with Siege Sideswipe, and you can see just a little bit taller than Sideswipe. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just gonna say it. Brawl should have been a Voyager. The fact that he's a deluxe just hurts him so much in the long run. From his stability issues to his fiddly, frustrating transformation to the automorph issues to his size. He's a small deluxe. Brawl should have been a Voyager. If you're gonna get a movie Brawl, I would recommend going for either the Studio Series 1 or the first movie leader if you can find him for a decent price. He's not exactly a common figure, but if you can find him for, I would say, 50, maybe 60, maybe grab him. But if you really want a movie Brawl, you could do worse, honestly, but you could also do a lot better.
Deluxe Brawl is a prime example of a character being put in the wrong size class. Many of the flaws he have would have been mitigated if he was a Voyager, which in general makes him one of the weaker figures from the line. See you guys next time, where we'll be taking a look at the bot that became the face of the franchise.